teaching you guys too much
It's
stuff.
all right. So how do we feel about queries?
Once it was understood, they were super easy.
Yeah,
Yes.
Super easy once understood.
I love them.
You should put the one that Jordan did.
Put the one that Jordan did.
Oh, this is pretty easy.
First, I'm gonna go over how to set it up because I know we can all follow the instructions, but we will fumble. We won't have a virtual environment set up, and we'll try and run these things, and we have to be able to understand what's happening. So how do I start a virtual environment? Do I have one already?
No, you
do
don't.
that.
I'm not even in the directory. Okay.
There we go.
Looks like I don't have a virtual environment.
So it's
So let's go
Python
ahead
dash
and
Python,
Python
There, and then source. Wait, after it does.
Now wait.
Wait an hour.
Wow, this is a long one.
Yeah. So when I plug in all these screens and stuff and start recording it. Okay. So now I see that I have a folder called VNV. So I'm gonna source outside source, then that directory right there,
Add / activate.
Yeah.
and now I have it in this terminal instance. If I want to go over here and make a new one in the same directory, it's the same directory. I have this vim folder, but I don't have this virtual environment in front of my prompt. So if I try and do stuff in here, I might have to source it first.
All right, so let's go ahead and install our requirement.
So pip install
Pip install.
/ shower.
No, I didn't tab complete. But it looks like I didn't have a typo. Okay. Installing, oh, it's slow, right? Now, while that's going on, that's gonna install it in the virtual environment.
Yep.
So I should be able, I might have to wait for it to finish anyway, right? All right. Now I'm going to, this is the same as typing Python manage.py. Test. Uh-oh. No such file or directory. That would makes me want to ls to see where I am. And I see that there's no manage.py. Where is it? There it is. Now I can test, and they all fail. Okay, so that's how we set it up. Now let's look at some of your answers. Which one? Oh, Jordan and Justin?
One by one.
One by one? Oh yeah. We'll go through them one by one.
I mean, we can go through different people's too. Be interested to see how.
Oh, different people's, yes. We'll focus on one question at a time, but we'll look at different ways to solve the same question, so we can get used to the different syntax that's available. The queries is just like another language like SQL, but less typing. And to learn it, we just look at different ways to solve it, the same problem. This one is pretty straightforward. Oh, why'd you do this here?
I can't get it to work the other way. We couldn't get it to work the other way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
A capital
we just
P.
didn't go
Oh,
back and clean up
so
that first one.
I just killed my terminal instance,
Ooh.
so I have no virtual environment.
Gotta get right back Just to reactivate.
I want to stay in this directory, so I'll just make another one by pressing Command Pipe, so I can cd out until I see the virtual environment folder.
Yeah.
Actually, I have to do it inside this one, don't I? Okay, I'll cd dot dot, and then I'm going to source bin activate, and then I'm going to cd back into ORM queries.
Nice.
Okay, now I can start looking at this stuff. So the models are Python classes. So all our models in Python that represent tables in the database will be here. We have our tests, and we have, this is where we're writing our queries.
Is CRUD a naming convention of some kind?
CRUD is an acronym. Create, read, update, delete.
Create, read, update, delete.
Those are the 4 things you have to be able to do. Once you can do that, you don't have to do it for every model in your database, but once you can do that for one, you can make a whole app, because that's you only have to do some of those 4 things to each of your models. This one should pass the first one. We didn't need to set a variable. We could just call product itself.
It says you ran 19 but failed only 18.
So what do we have here? This one, there's not going to be much variation. We saw this yesterday. To get all of the rows in the table and turn them into Python objects in a list, we say product.objects.all. This one, I think I forgot to, oh goodness. Oh, these hotkeys. Is that right? No, there we go. And then, why did it paste all ugly? Same thing here. We don't need this. We can just return this directly. For readability, again, and good thing you mentioned that, because this will be a little trippy, but you want to name it this way. You don't need to name it a different variable. This model and this product model will not be confused. So if you just name it model, you can see the syntax highlighting here is smart enough to let us know that it sees these models as different. This is like a key in a this is like a string, I think of it. Or this one here. Wait, what? Oh, it's reverse. Anyway, this goes here. This syntax highlighting is actually not good here. And then this is just a key. So this will also work. You don't have to name this and this a different thing. Before it said this so that you wouldn't confuse these. You don't have to do that. This ends up being more readable in the end because you have less variable names to keep track of. Next one. Did anybody do it differently? If anybody did it differently than the one we're using, Speak up.
Absolutely.
You'd have to look? Yeah, pull it up. So we can see all the different ways to do things. Gosh, this is painful, this pasting.
Push paste.
I'm just going to clone this one. Well, let me choose one to clone.
That's me.
That's you?
Completed it.
We have a volunteer? All right. I'm going to clone this one. Let's see. And deleting the folder recursively, cloning this repository, cd into Django. Oh, and it looks like it's already open in my editor. I have this virtual environment. It's kind of freaking me out, but let's just try it for now. Oh, wrong directory. And ls just to make sure. And manage.py is there.
The last record we did something different.
Uh-oh. See, this Venv was from the old one.
Which one did we do?
We did we ordered by merged it and then
How do I get rid of a virtual environment?
Deactivate.
Deactivate. Notice I ls every time I cd because I just don't trust myself to remember everything. Oh, I have to make one. Python and
Tests.
oh. All right. I'm going to now run my tests.
No, you gotta run the requirements.
Oh, I have to install the requirements. You're right. This virtual environment is brand new. There's nothing in it. Oops, I forgot something. Let's look at this syntax. Okay, so I don't have to deal with that extra variable. This one, it looks the same. We did the same thing here. Don't need that. This one, you probably have a different one.
That is different. Than the way that
All right. To illustrate a failure,
Not last.
that last. Oh goodness.
That'll work. Or that's not fair.
Oh. We have this failure here. Dot last, someone said? So dot last works, so does dot order by minus ID,
It's descend, ID descend.
ID descending. So the biggest ID will be the first one, and we grab the first one because it's a list at the index 0. Okay. Any other way? Are we looking at ours? Yes, recording. We are. Am I spending too much time on this? No, it's good. It's been 15 minutes. Okay. By rating, we have I'm okay with this. So I'm sure someone did it differently than this. No?
Which one's the rating?
Rating range. I skipped down to rating
By
range.
rating and color? By rating.
Rating range.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you did it. Greater than?
Objects.
That's fine. That's
Yeah, that's
all right.
CTE equals low
We
rating.
did this one.
And-
We took ours.
Yeah,
Oh, you just pushed it. Slash pulls. Dan and Silas.
There's so many ways to spin.
Is there?
Rating range. I like it. Wow,
That's awesome.
that's interesting naming.
Wait, that's the anyway.
This obviously won't work.
We did the same thing, except we used to start.
Okay, start and end. Oh, you want to keep it? All right. All right, so we have two different ways. What do we, well, most people did it this way. So this is greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and this range, which is inclusive. Okay,
That was rating.
rating and color. I think that was the easier way than this. Wait, average.
Average is rating. It's an average rating.
Average rating.
You change AVG.
Okay, AVG. Okay.
CLR.
I'm not a fan of abbreviation, but shorter is shorter.
Can I mention something about the Chippy meeting yesterday? Mike.
Yeah, you want to mention something
with
about?
regard to brevity? Like one thing I
Chippy
noticed
meeting.
about the lectures in general,
Uh-huh.
they seem to be proponents of like highly efficient code, and readability wasn't necessarily ever a topic. Did anybody else notice that? I think it was always about. It seemed to always be about like less lines, less code, doing more.
But I think that was also mostly just examples, and they were using like X, Y. They weren't using a lot of like
X and Y.
They weren't showing like production code. They were just giving examples of how things would work.
I know.
For the most part.
Like, but even when you talk to somebody like Celeste, and she goes through code, like, that seems to be her what she operates from versus readability. I mean, she does focus on style.
I don't know. She's told me readability.
All right.
She's like, delete this line.
Did anybody do it differently than this?
Yeah, it's hard, but still readability. Bless you.
Which one?
Rating by color?
Rating and color.
She was saying, like if I do
This might be the
Ours
best
was
way,
the
actually. All right. Let's go to rating or color. This one's more interesting. Okay. Colored. This one, we stored a list in a variable, and we stored another list in another variable. And then we called this variable, and we called .union on it, and added this one. So this list .union that list, and then we ordered it by the ID.
We did the same thing.
You did the same thing?
Yeah, it's
We
You did yours differently?
imported an or
Q.
operator.
gotta do Q.
Q.
And we didn't start using Q until after that.
Let's practice using Q.
Are you saying colored might not be the best green?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing the first time I saw that too. I was like,
We are down here. Colored. Huh. Color. Colors. And wait. Whatever. I'm gonna keep it.
Ingredients.
Where am I? All right. So the Q objects. Let's try that.
Pretty much.
And I can put 2 Q things in here
Yeah, well, you within the entirety of the parentheses.
to make it readable like we have here. I'm going to, I have to be inside the filter.
Yep.
All right, so in here I have Q.
And within parentheses again, rating equals rating.
This is a string? No,
Sorry.
variable.
Just like that.
And then,
And then outside of those parentheses,
or,
then another one color each color.
But then you have to input the library that Q comes.
I think you did it.
I did that up here. So we should have it. Let's see. All right.
Okay.
Another way to do this?
I think you can omit the Q's. There's a way to, but
It would be a little
I had to
longer.
use for the ores, but I didn't have to use it for any. So
Let me move this up here.
like you, if you just import the entire library,
I think
you just put it, that's
I think I can do this.
that's what we do that.
No, I'm wrong. There's oh, where is it?
Oh, we got that error a lot.
What was that second to do this?
It's okay. Later. We'll see it. There's a way to combine 2 separate queries beyond just Q. It's longer, but the Q does make this nice and short. All right. No color count. That's the one I have over on this side. Tell you what, I'm just gonna pull up last cohort. I made a pull request with a bunch of different ones. And we will look at those.
A lot of this. I didn't. Oh yeah.
All right. Huh. I thought using the stored variables like we had here would work. Maybe not. That looks just like this, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's just something that you
So this works, but somehow, even though these are exactly the same, I couldn't do this syntax while I stored it in a variable. But this does work. Good to know. Now, no color count. Did we have more than one for that? Yeah. I'll put these in a pull request. Oh, this is the other one.
We'll put it at work.
Both of them work, yeah. So both of these syntaxes work. And here, below price or above rating. Did everyone do it this way?
Q.
With Q?
Great.
Let's try that. Products.filter. Products.objects.filter. And we'll have two Q things separated by a pipe. And this one would be the same as here. Lower than and greater than. I have to move on to the validation soon. I think everyone was good with that except for the last one, right?
Not single, not.
All right. Did we have any different ones here? Oh, we had this one again. This one again. And I'm not gonna bother testing that. You guys can trust it. This one, there's only one for this one, huh? Aggregate, wait, is that order by, no, that's greatest price. We changed the order somehow. Huh. All right, alphabetical order and then price descending. We have price descending because there's a negative. And category. Let's see, at 10:30 go to retro. We're gonna move on to validations. I'm just gonna make a pull request for all the different variations of these. It would take a while to go through them all. And
You have to make a pull request from that page.
huh? I'll make one. Validations. The last one was tripping people up, if I remember.
Oh, so we're doing validations now.
Yeah, we're doing validations now. Red, green, unit test. My favorite part is associations. And we'll go over that after the retro. Validations. So first I need to fork it. I already forked it and it might have the answers, so I'm just gonna clone it. This one has a lot less typing, so I might be able to fast forward to the end too. I still have this random virtual environment. I'm gonna create Python-M, the name, and then, or the program name, and then the name of the folder we're making. Source, and activate. Oops, that makes sense. All right, now we can install all our requirements. So can somebody tell me what a validation is for?
So way to make sure that the data that you're getting into your database is actually going to work in the database.
The data that goes into the database
Like, so you're not going to
should actually work in the database. Yes. We need to make sure that we don't have any corruption in our data. And this
Not just the syntax and format for the types of data you're expecting.
syntax and format, yes. And the content and the format itself must match. We're gonna check this on the front end with the form, and we're gonna check it in the middle, and that's your model, that's the Django. And even, this is still part of Django, but it's a SQL, we're gonna check it in the SQL as well.
So Django is handling the middle and the back
The middle and the back.
and the
Yeah.
database level.
The Django is gonna write some SQL for you, and you're gonna write some Python that'll write some SQL.
Right.
But the checks are happening in Python, in JavaScript, and in SQL.
And the front end would be
The
like,
front end would be
the front
JavaScript.
end would be like, if you have your website and someone's filling out the form, it's like, okay, password needs to be this
Yep.
long, or like, oh, invalid.
You have to stop it at every step because you don't want it to get through, like something that you don't want to get through.
Dirty data.
And users will just click and type anything, right?
One injection.
Yep.
And the malicious people will type in SQL into your forms. All right. Where were we? To open this directory. And soon I'll be able to run my tests. I have to restart my virtual environment. And run my tests. So the first few tests pass because we have not commented out these. Does anyone remember what needs to go in here?
Max length.
Hey,
Max length equals. Like it.
number.
200.
Oh goodness, I can't decide. All right, I'm just gonna do that for each one. This one I'm just gonna leave alone.
You can't. You have to set it to like null is equal to either true or false.
Null is equal to true or false. Do I have to set that?
You do have to set it or else you get this.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes. You actually don't have to type this. Why?
You left it?
Jump to null. Oh, I don't have to scroll. Okay. If true, we will store empty values as null in the database. The default is false. So this is actually redundant. All right. Next ones. This one also needs a max length because it's a char field. And I'm just going to do that for all my char fields. That's it, though. But we have a validation to make for stroke type. I'm going to do fail fast so we just see the last one, or the first failure. Doggy paddle is not a valid stroke. We need this error to show up
Yes.
in this thing that doesn't exist. That's why it has a key error. It's key error stroke. It says whatever this is, it has no key of stroke. All right. What do I need to type? How do I get this message dict?
You need to make your own
Make a that
validator.
function
Custom validator.
Custom validator.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm looking for this this error.
validation error.
I need a validation error.
Because your test class takes validation error as E.
Okay. This oh I don't know what goodness just okay, just take everything. Django.core exceptions. There's the E. It's not an error, is it? Well, let's see. Okay. Now I have a validation error. Where am I going to put my validation?
I did it above.
Do it above?
Yeah, so define stroke validator.
Say,
Oh, really?
oh.
It takes in value.
Yeah. Be a little more descriptive.
Stroke in.
Or
not in, there you go. Then you can just
What are
copy
the
the
valid
list
ones?
over from
Ah.
the test.
Oh.
If you go to the test file, it's right there. It's right there too. Get rid of more. Bam. Boom. Raise exception.
Validation error.
Yeah, sorry. Raise validation error.
How do I use a validation error?
Parentheses.
And then a fancy string?
Use a fancy
Yeah.
string.
Yeah.
Fancy string.
Okay.
You fact probably you want to use a fancy string.
Yeah. Stroke.
Is not a valid string. Period.
Bam.
And then
You have to
Looks like
Yeah,
it
just
passed. Wait, right?
Oh,
you
yeah,
have to
yeah,
use
yeah,
that
yeah.
as a validator for your stroke.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
it's
it
not-
didn't pass.
It's
so
not
you could put a params, optional params argument inside of your
I think this is the syntax.
equals stroke
That is
validator.
exactly the same thing.
Is there another syntax we can use? Is that something I heard? A string? No? Alright. This is still failing.
What is it?
False is not true.
Yes.
Assert true.
It's not
Oh, it's not about. Oh, we didn't have.
There should be
We have a
periods.
period here.
Oh my god.
You did say two.
I changed it on the other end. I changed the dictionary.
Don't change the test.
I changed the test to include a period.
Ugh.
Make grammar not see the test.
All right. Now we're on test 6. So this passed. Do we want to have all our validators in the models.py?
Yeah.
No.
Yes and no.
I'm going to make a new file.
Crud.
So I only have models in here because this isn't a model. Right. So from validators, import everything. Or should we just do our specific one?
Because we're going to be writing a bunch of different ones.
All right. Sure. And I guess we're just going to use all of them, huh?
Validation error is not defined here.
What did I do? Oh,
So your models.py
oh no.
needs to import
Yay. So we're on test 6.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I'm just going to import star. so we don't have to list everything out. And oh, it's almost 10:30. I'm gonna skip to the last one. So we had a problem with record broken date. We might need record date to work. So
It just needs to exist. There's no like it's a date time field. So
the date time field,
Yeah, you can just go around the last one.
distance. I'm just gonna get rid of the fail fast so we can see all of them.
Record date.
All right, this is the last one. So the exercise was to overwrite the save. Here in the assignment, we have an example of how you would overwrite the save. Not overwrite it, but just add to it. And
if you're doing that, you have to do it. Save is it one way of doing it?
if this swim record inherits from models.model from Django. From there, it gets a save method. If we access the save method, then every instance will have its own record date. So every instance will have its own record date, and we can access that record date while we're here because we have this. So if Michael, can you help me? If
You want to check first to see if there's a record date and a
if they're there,
yes, so self.
all right.
Self record date.
Uh-huh.
And he asked me, John. Sorry, is there Michael over there? Michael? Michael? No?
Broken
No,
record.
Michael?
Record
Everyone
broken
wants to
date.
be like
No. Record broken.
It's sounding
No,
like a broken
broken
record.
record and record broken date.
And then colon.
Okay.
Never mind, there's 4 Michaels in here now. Maybe 5.
Then what?
I'm not
Now they
using it anymore.
exist.
Ask the other Michaels, please. I know. Last retro, I talked about not talking
All right. Well, now that they both exist, I'm gonna have
check
another.
to see if one is more than that. Just define and test the record.
If
Thank you.
the broken date
Broken date
is
less
after-
than record date. Is that less than record date?
That's
It's
the way
less.
that
It's less than?
yeah, that's better.
And then return
Then I'll raise
value.
a validation error. What's it
There's
supposed to
only
say?
one Michael in code platoon in quotes.
Actually, there's two.
No, that's fine. Right, Mike or Mike?
Either Mike, I guess. Yeah,
Mike.
I'm Mike here.
Thank you.
You have a good point.
You failed. All right.
Well, his-
we can all share
And
it.
in quotations, Justin failed.
Can't break
He would be
record
asking himself.
before record is set.
Well, and also, Ethan, I'm not correct that we have to put the quotation of the value of
Yeah, so returning it as a dictionary.
return as a dictionary here. So
Am I?
we have to
Keep
put
it
inside the parentheses.
It does say returning it as a dictionary.
Yes.
Does it really?
Yes.
Maybe these tests have changed.
So inside the parentheses.
Okay. Inside the parentheses.
No, you're fine with that.
Oh,
Oh, that's fine. That's that's the value. Right.
that's the value.
Yes.
Okay.
So colon there, and then before that is record broken date, I believe it is.
Record.
Record date.
Broken date. That's what we want.
Add the
But as a dictionary.
As a dictionary. Yeah, so in
Mm.
curly braces and then record date and quotations.
And broken, record broken data.
Oh yeah, this is not
There you
JavaScript.
go. There it is.
All right. Well, we have some more to write here because we have the parent super function. We have to invoke the rest of the save function besides this one. All right, let's see if it passes.
You say distance is an invalid keyword.
I might have to go through this and rewrite something.
You have to uncomment out your distance. It's trying to create a distance, but in the
Create a distance.
line 11, uncomment.
Yeah, it's not gonna make the
Well, it is because the test actually tries to create an object and add in a distance when there's no thing for the model.
It's an error in save. Huh? What is this object? Is this what you guys did to pass the test? Or did you change the test?
I didn't change it.
I mean, you can just do it as
Raise validation error.
well,
you can just
You
do
do
it without doing
definite-
it.
Oh, this is
because you
function. Function being called save.
so like the very top of models, you deleted the fact that you were importing.
Oh, I don't have a validation error anymore.
Yeah.
Error. But, huh. Is that really what it is though? Because I imported star from validator. I'll get back to you on this. All right, we need the retro.
Retro.
It's a remote, Slack everything, and me and Tom will put you up. Who wants to lead the retro today?
Oh,
Okay.
Yes,
Silence.
yeah.
I'm gonna go get rid of the chippy stuff.
No! No! Oh!
Wait,
You see that, Ethan? You see what he did?
control.
You see that? He completely disregarded your request. Yeah.
Wow. That's going
Said
on.
DNA.
I am.
Do not